Hello, this is Rebecca at Keystone RV Center. I'm doing another walkthrough for a customer that couldn't make it here in person. Today we're going to do the 2025 MB36. So this has the mid bunk in it, and really I'm just going to show where things are at, how they work, and for the customer's sake that they do work. So I de-winterized the unit. It was winterized up to now. And so I went ahead and I de-winterized it so I'll be able to show you the water heater and your faucets and all that, okay? So first things first, right up here up front, this is just some storage that's up front here. It does have a light here, and then you saw the lights on the cap. In here, it's got the tool there to override the slide out, and your spare tires in here. Right up there is the leveling system. As you can see, there are fuses there, and you always want to make sure that that's screwed in place. Otherwise, this is going to take a nosedive one way or the other, either off to the side or in the front or in the back. Just make sure it's screwed up there good, that's all. All right, so there's that. Now this right here, this panel comes off. It's just something that you push over and you can move. Some of your wiring and stuff is back there, so if you ever needed to actually get to it, you could. All right, so we're going to move around. Right here, we have your actual dry weight of it as it sits right now, and your length. You are 42 feet 7 inches. Okay. Your tire pressure should be at 80 psi if you're going to travel. Right inside the first storage. When this got put here, the very first thing I did was I turned on your auto level system and I hit auto level. It leveled it up. I did that before I pulled down the steps, before I pulled out the slides, before I did anything else. That's the first thing you want to do once it gets off the truck and put in place where you're going to have it parked. The screen has several different settings. So this is your home screen. So if you push the arrow, it goes to auto hitch. It has hitch memory, so it will go to the last place it was hitched up at. The next one is auto retract all. You're going to enter to begin. That will bring up all of the leveling in the back and in the front. One of the things that people don't realize is when it retracts in the front all the way, the nose of this goes all the way down. So it freaks people out sometimes when they see that. But I will tell you that it seems like sometimes that actually does kind of a reset on the auto level. So sometimes if your auto level's not working right, try doing the retract all and start again and see if that doesn't fix your problem. The next screen is auto retract rear, enter to begin. You're just going to pull up the rear leveling system. And the last screen is going to be the manual level. If you're in a kind of an awkward place, you can front to back, left to right, level it one by one instead of the whole system at once. All right, and then your next one is just going to be your home screen again. All right, so when it comes to getting these off and on your truck, right here on the door, it tells you how to do that. So you'll be able to drop off the trailer and then reconnect to your tow vehicle. All that is on the sticker on the door right here. Right next to that sticker is if you want to hook up more than just the one battery that's in here right now. The one battery you have is right here, under here. It's an interstate battery, and it's a wet battery. That's important to remember because when you do your maintenance, you're always going to want to pop the caps on the top of the battery and check your water level. If you pop those open and you don't see water, distilled water is what you're going to put in there. I always tell everyone whenever you do your maintenance on the camper, don't forget the battery, even if you're plugged in all the time. Right here is your battery disconnect. If this is going into storage, it's not plugged in, you're not using it, just turn that off and it will really help save on your battery so it doesn't get drained down to nothing. All right, so right here, this light is motion detect. So as soon as you open the door, that lights up for you. And then these two switches here were the light on the front cap and then the brighter light up by the pin box. All right, you have another place here for another battery if you choose to put another one on. Moving on over here, this is some of your storage. It's actually really nice storage in this one. You've got quite a bit of storage. Up here is your water system. So on the left-hand side, you've got your cable, and then you have your satellite. This here, I don't know if you can read it, says city fill. And this one doesn't say anything, but that is your freshwater fill. So if you're in a spot where you don't have city water hookup, you can fill your fresh tank, which is what we're going to be working off of today. When I dewinterized the unit, I filled up your fresh tank by about 2/3 just to show you that things work. The city water here is what most people are going to be on all the time. Please, whenever you're filling this, whether it be the fresh tank or using the city water, please make sure that you're using a water regulator, a water pressure regulator. Some of these campgrounds have really high water pressure, and it really could blow your lines apart. That's a rare occurrence. That's not something that happens a lot, but it does happen. The last thing up here is the black tank flush. So everything's in white there, so it's kind of hard to see sometimes, but the black tank is black. So whenever you hook a hose up to this, you'll be able to spray out your black tank to keep it clean. So once you dump your black tank, which is your toilet, you could hook a hose up to that. Make sure you leave the valve to the black tank open when you're spraying it out with a hose, because the pressure from the spray, it could build a lot of pressure up in that black tank and potentially shoot out the vent on your roof. Again, that's very rare, but it does happen. The bigger issue that we have with these is people leaving the black valve shut and filling it up with fresh water to dump it that way, which in theory would work fine as long as you know how much water is actually in the black tank, because it could overflow your toilet and all over your floor, then it's a big mess and everybody's mad. So just leave the black valve, but we want you to use it. Just leave the black valve open when you're using that tank flush. Down here you have an outside shower. It's got hot and cold running water. They provide that outside shower, but they do not provide the hose that does the quick connect to it. So if you want one, if you shop for one, it's just a quick connect shower. It's a nozzle. All right. Right here, this is how you would get to, I don't know if you can see it. Right there is your water pump. They make this very easy to winterize and dewinterize because your pump's right there. There's a valve in there that I had to turn. I don't know if I can show it. That valve that's right there, it's white on the blue line. I had to turn it to go with the blue line so that it would siphon water from the fresh tank. When you go to winterize, you're going to turn that valve just a quarter turn. It only lets you go one way or the other. And then that white hose that's here, you drop that down into your antifreeze and go inside and turn your pump on. Start turning on your faucets whenever they run the color of your antifreeze. You're winterized it. They always say to start at the furthest point from the pump. And in this case, I believe it would be your kitchen sink. So start there and work your way forward. Don't forget to do this, all right? And please don't forget, whoever winterizes this, take that out, push in the center of it until antifreeze comes out. You're gonna wanna do that with this one and that one, I believe. And then here you have your low point drains. Your low point drains, that's just the lowest point of all your drains. So again, for winterization, empty all the water out of them before you actually start winterizing. All right, hopefully I explained that good enough. If not, here on YouTube, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on how to winterize. These guys are very nice and they make it very, very easy to do that. All right, speaking of winterization, you have a tankless water heater. If you don't know anything about winterizing, one of the pains most of the time in winterizing is that you have to get to the back of your water heater and bypass that tank. In this case, you don't have a tank. It's on-demand instant hot water. It's propane only. It does need a little bit of electricity to spark up the flame to start getting that water hot, but other than that, it's propane. So, it's a love-hate with these sometimes. We really do like these tankless heaters because they don't fail very often. If they fail, it's usually because there's not enough water pressure or the propane bottle itself is not all the way on. And that's something I'll talk about when we get around to the other side. But please make sure those propane tanks, whichever one you're using, is on all the way. But here, all you have to really worry about is the on and off switch right here. That's off. I'm going to have it on because I want to show you that it works. It's a little bit noisy here right now with the forklift. I'm sorry about that. Here you have a pressure relief valve. There's nothing here that you need to do with the relief valve, except maybe when you do go to winterize, you can pull that and empty whatever water's in there out. But when you winterize, make sure you're letting antifreeze run through this. There's no tank here. We are winterizing essentially all those copper coils back there. We want antifreeze running through those. Okay? As long as you have propane and water, you have hot water, so you don't got to time out those showers. The only time you might feel some fluctuation usually is going to be if someone's taking a shower and then somebody else comes into the kitchen and turns the sink on the hot. You guys are going to experience some fluctuation then. Other than that, if it's working the way it's supposed to be, it will hold its temperature to whatever you set it to. There is a control panel for this inside that you're going to set to however hot you want the water to be. The exhaust that comes out of here is super hot. That exhaust is really hot. We don't have bug screens for that, not here anyway. I don't really worry about it too much, only because any bug that would go in there has decided life is not worth living, because it's not going to last long. As soon as someone turns on the hot water, it's done. All right, so over here, though, this is a different story. This is the exhaust for your furnace. You have a Suburban furnace here. Please go Amazon. You can shop here at Keystone. You can order whatever, but get an insect screen for this Suburban furnace. The main reason for getting the screen is exactly what it is. It's an insect screen. You don't want to get bugs, stink bugs, wasps, mud daubers, anything like that to get in there, because they will. The mud daubers have been the biggest issue as of late. They go in there, they go all the way in there. They don't stop right here. They go all the way into your ductwork and build a nest. And on the time you see them flying in and out, it's too late. They've already started. There's always some that stay behind to take care of the house, I guess. And then if they die in there, when you turn your furnace on, the smell is horrible. Get a screen. Just get one. Get one. Put it on there. It stays on. You don't have to take it on and off. Okay? All right. So, moving on. Just see the rest of your trailer. I didn't open the slides on this side because I wanted to show you some of the stuff that's here is a lot easier to see with the slides in. But when we get around to the other side, I'm going to talk about the maintenance that I want you to do on all the slides, not just the one that's open on the other side. Right here, this is your sewer. So that's going to be where you connect your sewer hose at. Right up here is going to be a way, when the slide's in, it's much easier to pull your valves right here. So you have a black and a gray. It says black one, gray one, and galley. They didn't really need to number it because these are the only three that you have. So your black and gray are your shower and, well, the bathroom, and then the galley is your kitchen. So you've got two gray tanks and a black. Pull the black first, and then you can rinse the sewer hose out with the gray. The black valve is the one I'm asking you to please open if you're going to use that black tank flush. Pull it, leave it open, spray it out. When you're done, shut it. All right? One of the biggest mistakes people will make is they will hook their sewer hose up here, and if they have sewer on site, they'll hook their sewer hose up, put the other end into the ground where the sewer is, and then open those three valves, and now they don't have to worry about dumping their tanks. The issue with that is that only liquid is going through the sewer hose. Everything solid is staying behind and drying to the bottom of the tank. You don't have to be those people that don't use your bathroom, the toilet in particular, like it's intended. As long as you use RV toilet paper and your toilet treatment, use it like you would at home. Just remember, if you leave the valves open and it's connected to sewer and you just leave it open, Only liquid's going through the hose. Everything else is staying behind and drying to the bottom of your tank, making that little pyramid in there everybody talks about. The other thing that could potentially happen, again, it's not normal to have it happen, but sewer gases will make their way into your camper and it's going to smell like a porta potty. Nobody likes that. And you'll know people who do it because you'll walk into their camper and that's the first thing that you smell is that they've left their valves open, hooked to sewer. So let them fill the tanks about 2/3 full and then come out, pull your valves, black, gray, galley, and then close them. All right? That's it. Okay. I know I talk a lot about the black tank, but it's important. So back here, you just have your rear leveling. Up above that is the vent for when you're cooking. If you can see, there's 2 clips right there that you undo for if you're going to cook. We want you to pop those open and turn the fan on inside just to get the steam out. Any moisture inside of a camper is a bad thing, even if it's just steam. All right, so, but once you're done for the season, you're closing this up, make sure you close and lock that. I guess those little wrens, the birds, they like to get in there and make a nest. I know they're cute and all for some people. It's not cute, the mess that they would make in there, all right? Lock it down. That's all I'm trying to say here. This customer has opted to have slide toppers put on all of her slides, which was such a good idea. I'm very happy she did that. Slide toppers are going to help with the debris on top of the slide out. A lot of the times when you close your slide on the ground, everything looks like it's good. You're good to go. It's sealed up. Well, if even one thing is up there, a stick, a bunch of pine needles, acorns, walnuts, whatever, one thing on top of that slide could prevent this from being closed all the way. And now you are not sealed up all the way and it rains and now water's coming in because there's a gap up there that you didn't see. Slide toppers are really going to help prevent that from happening. All right, so everyone always wants to know what these little holes are. That, when I said the tool up front was for a slide override, oh, I'm not going to be able to see it. It's too dark. This is the override for the slide on the other side. So the override motors for slide outs are always going to be on the opposite side of the slide. So in this case, this is the one on the other side of the living room. There's going to be another hole like this on the other side for this slide out. All right, so this is your cord. I believe it's 36 feet long. Hopefully that's long enough for you. And then moving around, we have just a couple of things back here. You're prepped for a backup camera. If you're going to be on a permanent site, it's not really necessary to get one, but you could always use it for security. If it makes you feel better to have, a way to see around the back of your trailer anyway, you could certainly hook one up like that. Over here, you have prep for a ladder. It's called On The Go ladder. There's a QR code there that goes all the way down to the ground, and they have 12 and 14 feet ladders that you can get. It just hooks right on there, and then you can bring it right on down to the ground. The reason we want you to have a ladder, we want you up on that roof. There is maintenance with any trailer. All of them you have to do your maintenance, or else you're going to have more problems than you can imagine. It's a mess when there's issues that start happening, especially leaks. What you're looking for up there, the self-leveling sealant, that's what they use around every hole they've cut. So this one has, I believe, 3 AC units on the roof, plus vents, and everything like that. There's a hole cut, and that appliance or whatever it was, the AC, gets dropped into that hole, and then they seal it up with self-leveling sealant. The self-leveling sealant, it goes on nice and smooth like caulking, but you come back an hour later, it looks like a 3-year-old was up there with it. It spreads out. It looks like it's a mess, but it's very effective. So the self-leveling sealant does need to stay somewhat soft. The last thing you want is for that to start to harden, because when it does, it'll crack and break, and then that's where the leaks happen. A good rule of thumb is the meaty side of your hand, on the inside of your hand, if it gets any harder than that there, you probably should go ahead and replace it. It does chemically bind to the membrane of the roof, though, that sealant does. So it's not going to be something you can just peel back and replace. You're going to have to work at it a little bit. Just don't use a metal scraper. We want you to use a plastic one if you need to. You just don't want to take any chances of puncturing that membrane up there. It's really tough stuff, don't get me wrong. The membrane's very strong. It's actually very hard to even cut with a razor, but it could still happen. So as long as you do your maintenance up there, keep it clean. Just use a mild soap and a hose with a soft bristle brush. Don't get up there with a power washer, please. But get up there, scrub it down, hose it off. It'll really keep those black streaks off of your camper. And then check your seals. Make sure the sealant is nice and soft and not getting hardened on you. All right. So the last thing we have going on back here is if you decide at some point you're going to go somewhere with it instead of at a permanent spot, you can hook something on the back of it if you're brave enough. So this can do 3,000 pounds for towing and 300-pound hitch rating. It also has a little four-way here, so you could plug it in and have lights. If you have a trailer or even a boat behind you, I've seen people tow boats behind them, and those are brave people, but they're usually very confident. So it's something that you could do with this one. I would definitely check with the states that you're traveling through if you choose to do that. I think most states are pretty universal on how long you can be, but then there's other states that are different. So just check that if you're going to do that. So moving around, I'm going to talk about maintenance again. This is one of your slide outs on this side. It's the only slide out on this side. The other 3 slides are on the other side. I left this one out instead of showing you the slide coming out because I want to talk about the rubber going around the slide out. The rubber going around the slide out takes rubber conditioner. It needs to stay soft. Just think about your hair. If you want your hair soft, you're going to get conditioner. Same thing here. So all the way around. The slide topper, once again, another reason to get a slide topper, it really does help protect that top seal up there. That doesn't mean you don't do anything. You're going to need to get in there and spray that rubber conditioner. You spray it on, it foams up, and you wipe it. That's it. So you're going to do that, and then you're also going to come down here on this particular slide out. The teeth that are on the track there, you're going to spray that down with a silicone or a lithium type of grease. It's just going to keep things lubricated, keep it moving smoothly. So everyone also wants to know, how often am I supposed to do that? Forest River is going to tell you every 90 days. And that's a pretty good schedule, really, every 3 months. At least check it, especially the roof. The roof is so important along with the slide outs, just because you don't want these things to get hardened and fail on you. So check it. I have talked with quite a few people who have a holiday schedule, and at the very least do it twice a year. They'll do it on Memorial Day and again on Labor Day. I thought that was a good idea. It's easy to remember. So make an afternoon of it. Don't get up on the roof drinking a beer, but, make an afternoon of it. Take care of the camper. You're spending lots of money on this. Protect your investment, right? So here we have your awning. I've got both of them out. I think I had a picture of that earlier, but here it is with the awnings out. Got the LED light underneath. It's in the evening right now, so it's given a pretty good idea of how bright they are. And then the steps, I'll talk about the steps here in a minute. I want to get to your storage and stuff up here, and then we'll talk about the steps. I know you bought this camper because it's got this bottle opener. I'm sure that's the whole reason why you bought that, but there you go. Here's your storage. You can put a TV in here if you'd like. There's your cable and a plug-in for it. And then just more storage. And I did set your lights to motion detect. So on the back side of the light, you have the switch. So it's over on the side. I know you can't see it from here, but one side has 2 lines, the other side has 1 line. The side that has 2 lines is the motion detect setting. And then in the center, turns it off. All right, so I'm just going to leave those on motion detect. That way, whenever you open up the storage door, the light comes on. Last thing up here is going to be your propane. Both of your propane bottles are full. The only propane that I have used in here was to test and make sure your furnace worked and your water heater worked and stuff before I started the video. So that's all that's been used. So these are full. Right now, this is pointing, the notch that's here is pointing there because that's the one it's drawing off of. If you leave both of these open, when this one runs out, it'll automatically flip over and draw off the other one. Most people don't like that though. Most people will leave this one off, and then when this one runs out, you can manually move it over to the other one. Whenever you run out of propane, that green will turn red. It will also turn red when I shut these off after a day or whatever of not being on. There's no pressure there. So when there's no pressure, that green will turn red. As soon as you turn the propane on, it'll flip to green for you. If you want to know how much propane you have and you don't have a gauge telling you how full your propane is, if you pour hot water over the top of these, the condensation line will let you know how much you have, just so you have a good idea of what it is. With these particular bottles, they're good for 10 years from the date they were produced. So keep an eye on that. It's cheaper to get them filled versus exchanging them. But also when you exchange them, it's their job to give you their oldest bottle. So you could be giving them a 1-year-old bottle and they're giving you an 8-year-old bottle. I don't think that happens very often, but I have heard people tell me that's exactly what happened to them. So I pass on the information that's given to me. I think the last thing I want to talk about out here are these clips. So these are clips that are holding your doors open. So you undo it and then you can, shut the door. These clips, they're sturdy, but this is made to break away. Okay, so these break away if somebody were to grab the door and try to shut it, forgetting that it's clipped up there. Whenever that does happen and you have to go get new clips, just go ahead and get the plastic ones. They have metal ones and they are strong. Don't get me wrong. They would be very strong. The problem is sometimes they're too strong. If somebody were to grab a hold of the door and pull it down again with a metal clip on here, this might not be the only thing that breaks off. The whole thing could break off and you're left with a big hole in the side of your camper because the whole thing came out instead of just the clip. Okay, so just food for thought on that one. All right, so we're going to go in, and the last thing I'm going to talk about out here are your steps. Now, I put the steps down prior to me doing the video, mainly because I'm doing this video with my phone, and I'm the only one, and it really does take 2 hands to pull the steps down. When you open the door, open it all the way, so the steps can come down. If the door's not open all the way, then this right here will grab the inside of your door and start marking it up. So when I open the door all the way, okay, so now it's all the way open. This is when you would put the stairs back up in there. Again, open it all the way to bring the steps back down. And what we like to do here anyway is when the steps are coming down, the legs, the feet are adjustable right here. To adjust the legs right here, you're just going to push that in and then you can move that back up in there. And to bring them back out, you just pull that down and it'll click out. You don't have to press this back here. We like to let them hang with the feet not touching the ground first, because you really do want this part right here to be even with this. If the legs are overextended, what it does is it brings this up, and now with that not touching, you'll have to slam the door shut. Nobody wants to have to do that. Plus, over time, it could bend the bottom of your door because you're slamming that door over and over again. So let it hang and then just pull the feet down into place once it's hung there, all right? And that's it on that. I know that didn't sound like it made a lot of sense. It would make a lot more sense, excuse me, if you were seeing me do it. So I apologize for that, but I don't have anyone helping me today. All right, so we're going to go in, and I'm going to go ahead and open up the rest of the slides, and that's it. I'll be right back.